My sister-in-law called my husband and told him she would be bringing her only child and son Chidi to spend the August holiday with us. He was a boy of 11 years and I didn't have any problems with that. To me he is grown and I wouldn't have to stress myself taking care of him. This boy came and told me that he drinks tea every morning by 7 a.m. Then by 9 a.m. he would eat another food. By 12 he takes lunch and another food is by 4 p.m. before dinner by 7:30 p.m. I didn't understand that pattern of eating, so I told my husband. My husband gently called him and told him that we don't do such feeding in our house, and he became very angry. He called his mother and complained, and she called me to plead with me to give her son food like that, but I told her I wouldn't and don't have time for such feeding. He would eat whenever my children were eating. At his age, he doesn't know how to do any house chores, but he was always making a mess and expected me to clean it up. One evening he threw the broom I gave him to sweep at me. I tried so hard to hold myself from hitting him. It was my 5-year-old son that swept the sitting room. My husband came home and after hearing what happened called his sister and told her to come and pick her child. I will not tolerate any little boy disrespecting my wife and worst still doing it in front of my boys. My sister-in-law called me and gave me all manner of insults. Story written by Amaka's Folktales. 2 months later, she called for a family meeting, and at the meeting she said that I have to kneel down and apologize to her son for mistreating him in my house. I wanted to lash out, but my husband held my hands. Babe, don't worry. This is my fight, let me handle it. My husband gave his sister a piece of his mind with a serious warning never to come for me again. Sister, I am not like the others that you bully their wives and they keep quiet. If you try it with my wife, you wouldn't like what would happen. My mother-in-law in anger poured spit on my sister-in-law. Ifioma, I am ashamed to be your mother. What is wrong with you? There was lots of fight and quarrel, but my husband stood for me against his sisters. 3 weeks after that incident, my first son became sick. We treated malaria, but he was getting worse. We went to the hospital and stayed for 2 weeks and he was still running temperature. We started moving from one hospital to another. He became so lean and couldn't stand on his feet. I have always been a praying mom. I don't joke with my midnight prayers. All this time I continued praying, and because of his health I stopped going to work. My husband was confused, but we kept praying. I sat in tears and held on to my son as he struggled to breath. I cried and prayed to God to show me mercy and spare his life. In front of me stood my sister-in-law, standing in front of me laughing and making a mockery of me even though I was calling on her to help me. I woke up and it was a dream. Immediately I woke up and told my husband to call for a family meeting. Everyone gathered and I stood before my sister-in-law, presented to her the beverages and some other food stuff that I got and pleaded with her to free my son. Auntie, please do not let my child to die. He is my first child and I don't want to lose him. She stood up and started shouting at me. Wait, Neka, you must be out of your mind. So you brought me here to accuse me of trying to kill Dudalal, your son? Auntie, you know what I am talking about, please free my child. My husband wanted to shout, but I told him to calm down. Honey, it's my fight this time, let me handle it. Then I turned to my sister-in-law. Auntie Ifioma, I am not begging you. I have just done what the Holy Spirit instructed me to do. I warn you for the last time to free my son, because if I come for you, you and your entire generation would be wiped out from the surface of this earth. Those words took her by surprise. I could see the fear on her face. 2 days later, I was at home alone with my sick child while I was in the kitchen cooking. Someone called Mummy only for me to turn and see my son, standing with his 2 legs. This is a boy that has not walked in 5 months. I screamed and carried him up. He was asking me questions. Mummy, where is my brothers? Why am I at home? Why didn't I go to school with them? I cried and thanked God. How do I explain to my child the hell he has been through for the past 5 months? This incident created a big division in the family. Everybody learnt to stay in their lane. Everyone feared Auntie Ifioma. Finally, they all saw her for who she truly is. It's been years since this incident. 3 days ago, Auntie Ifioma called my husband crying. What happened? He asked. Chidi mistakenly stabbed his classmate and the boy gave up immediately. My husband and his other siblings ran to the station and consoled her. They are a family, and most times family would always stand by you no matter what. Chidi was sentenced to death for murder, At 22, he knows the difference between right and wrong. This story teaches that raising a child is more than just feeding and clothing them. It is teaching them values, respect, and discipline. When you ignore bad behavior in your child and cover it up with entitlement, you are not helping that child, you are destroying their future. A child who is not taught boundaries at home will one day be taught painfully by the world. Sometimes that lesson is too costly to recover from. Thank you for listening to my story. If you are coming across my channel for the first time, please subscribe to support my channel, and to my subscribers, thank you for your support. Do not forget to put on your notification bell for more interesting stories from Amakas Folktales. Bye.